Going around the table, opening it up to the panel.
How would you all say master? No.
Yeah.
Go in a circle.
So she says.
It would definitely be a sex thing.
So Courtney says women should call the man they date master. Would you call your boyfriend master if he wanted that?
Hell no.
Hell no, Kate.
I actually
She
don't
does.
have that big of a problem with it because he'll ask for something. It's like, can you make a water? I'm like, yes, master. And I just hand it to him. It's not always sarcastic. Sometimes it's just playful.
Do you want Kate to call you master?
No opinion. Once in a while would be nice, I guess.
Every
Okay.
fortnight.
That already
every
happens.
fortnight. Lola, would you call your boyfriend, your new boyfriend, I guess, a master?
I would not. And he wouldn't want me to.
Okay. What about you? Would you?
Absolutely, and I have.
Oh, there you go. But not. What if it's not even like? Don't get it twisted. Maybe it's not even it's not a sexual thing, right? This is like just a.
This is a formal honorific. I think
Yeah,
you can
it's like
see
a
it
nice thing to
sexual,
say.
you can see it not, but I think of it as
Felicity's mind
one
is
of the
in the gutter.
highest degrees of
I might-
respect you can
It's-
pay.
It is.
Well, what I was going to say is my next boyfriend, someone that I date,
Yeah.
is going to be someone that I respect enough that they are the dominant in the relationship, in which case, yes. But I wouldn't be with someone that I don't view with that kind of respect. So I agree.
But but they don't own you, right? Like,
No, he doesn't own me.
Master almost denotes that
it
you're
was-
some sort of
it's-
property.
It's respect,
Yeah,
not ownership.
I don't really understand that line either. The line of ownership.
well, like if someone's your master, it's like they're like you have
Yeah.
to listen to everything they say. Like you're
Yeah.
almost their property.
No, I don't know.
You don't
Chosen
think-
master.
The idea here is like it's the same problem I have where people will say like with the R wording the wife thing, right? So this is this
that
is
about?
well. So the idea is like if your wife wakes you up with sex or you wake your wife up with sex, is it R, right? Is that what it is? And like the kind of the feminist trope is like, yeah. Yes, it is. And it's like, that's really fucking stupid. And the reason it's really stupid is because, like, if your wife goes and spends your money and you didn't consent, is she stealing from you? And it's like, no, she's not. You know, there's the idea, I've always thought the idea in marriage of one flesh, that's what it actually means, right? And so, like, you being obedient to your husband, isn't that like being obedient to you? Isn't that what the idea is there?
No, I think there's like a concept of personal individual agency that you can exercise in a relationship. Like
yeah,
you
but
can
you're
be
not
your own
getting,
person in a relationship.
You're not getting rid of the agency. If you're one flesh, if you're a union, right? You're sharing everything. You're sharing
But in
body.
this-
Hang
in
on.
this-
You're sharing body. You're sharing mind. You're sharing money. You're sharing everything. That's what the whole point of marriage is. And if that's not the point, then what the fuck is the point?
Wait, in that case, doesn't the man also have to take into account and listen to the woman a lot?
Well, take
Because
into
he's-
account, yes. But the thing is,
Listen
is
to
like
to some degree. Like, why is he more? If
yeah,
they're like
because when there was a hostage situation, he shot a fuck. That's why. And the thing is, it's
said
like,
duck, and I ducked.
and like,
That's
let me
true.
just let's just lay it out, right? Because when the thump in the night went, he fucking answered with the gun. And the thing is because of that, the protection of your rights, even inside of your home, actually are deferred to the man. And so, yeah, you should probably listen to him.
Call
And
him
it's
master.
probably a good idea. Well, I don't know about master because that has some loading behind it, but like you call a judge your honor, you know? And like, what did he fucking do to deserve your honor that your husband didn't do to deserve your honor?
Right.
It sure sounds like
everyone
saying
has
you're
arguments,
you know?
but at the end of the day, if you really don't want to listen to anything the person says, don't be with them.
Yeah. Like why do you call a judge your honor?
It's like because it's a very common respect.
Because
that's
it's
just carried out
it's an
in the-
honorific that you're supposed to respect my station. But if you call a judge your honor, but you can't call your husband your honor.
You can. People can do whatever they want.
I know, but
I just
if you
personally wouldn't.
if you refuse, right, you're giving the judge more respect than your own husband. And it's like that to me just sounds counterintuitive.
So if you call a judge your honor and you don't call your husband your master, you're
Did I say master?
well. That's what we were.
I
Talking
said
about.
your honor.
Well, you may not by default call him that, but what if he asked if you could? Would you oblige if you respected him, or would you be like, no, fuck you? How dare?
Or
the
like how about
audacity."
this? Like in the Bible, the view is Lord, right? Like Sarah called Abraham Lord. And so the question is like if you say your honor to a judge, your honor. You're giving him this really high honorific. You're saying your station is above mine. That's why they sit at those high benches. And that's why they have a gavel. They're going to fucking judge your ass.
I think that's like more of a traditional, just like in the context of like the legal system.
Yeah, but why is that tradition
that's
there?
attached.
It's to show the distinction in station. Your station is down fucking there. I get to judge this. I get to rule on this, and you're gonna do what you're fucking told. And so the thing is like, you'll cast your fate to them and say that it's okay that they affect society with their judgment, but not your own fucking husband. And that to me has always been crazy. That's just crazy.
So what I would say is like, just because I wouldn't be comfortable calling the guy I'm with master, it doesn't mean I wouldn't show him respect in
I
other
didn't
ways.
say master.
Well, that's
Well,
fine.
you keep on, I literally said to you, you don't have to use a loaded historic term.
Okay.
You don't have to be like, look, because master infers slave. I get that. You can even abandon that.
That's what I believe in.
But like
abandoning
your
that term.
honor, Lord, things like that.
The bow.
Yeah,
Majesty.
something like this. Any of these things that don't have the same, that you would call complete fucking strangers. You'd call complete fucking strangers that, but not your husband. That makes me think like that you don't really respect the person much, or
I
that
think
you don't.
You can respect someone just because you don't use, like, it's not really common to necessarily use that kind of title in a relationship.
Yeah, but that just brings it back to the original question, right? Like, why do you say it to a judge? Why do you say your honor?
Because it's like the common like term that's just used in that legal context.
It's because
In court,
he's
that's just what's typically done.
Because
That's what
he's
you
in
learn. That's what you
judgment, and you're
hear.
deferring your fate to him.
Well-
And so I would think that like, if it's the case that you stand in judgment of your own husband, right? And you defer your fate to them. They're the one who has to go to the bump in the night. They're the one who has to give you the fucking seat on the lifeboat. They're the one who has to fucking sacrifice for you. Then like an honorific doesn't seem that bad to me. That seems really reasonable.
If you two are at an
can show
impasse
respect in other ways.
and one of you needs to make a decision as to the tiebreaker, who gets to make that decision?
Ooh, sounds like you've been watching me too much.
What tiebreaker? Wait, what are you talking about? I didn't fully hear your question.
In an argument or a disagreement, he wants one thing, she wants one thing. You've talked it through. They still want their respective things. Who's the tiebreaker? The man or the woman?
They're equally
And then,
Well,
valid in their.
so who do you defer to? How do we? There's only two.
You just have conflict resolving abilities then, or if you really can't
How do
resolve
you
your
co- how
conflict
do
and
you-
it's that bad.
Yeah, how do you resolve the conflict if neither one of you, you're at an impasse? It's an impasse. You can't negotiate an impasse, or it wouldn't be an impasse.
Like there's no compromise here.
it's hard. Well,
You feel very strongly on one end, and he feels very strongly on the other end, right? Who gets deferred to here?
Well, no one. There's no other third party here.
Sounds like they just break up.
what do you guys
But if it's a
Usually I
conflict-
defer to him because he's more stubborn than I am, but then later, if it's something that I really care about, we'll come to a compromise after he feels bad for being so stubborn.
If it's a conflict that's not that deep, you can just forget about it and move
Yeah,
on.
but
Some things have to happen
Do you
fast.
see how you consistently change the framing so as to not answer the question that I'm asking?
I did answer.
So
I
I'm
said
going to
you can
help
just forget
you.
about the
Hang on, I'm
conflict
going to
and
ask
say
it
we can
again.
agree to disagree.
I'm
You
gonna
can agree to
ask-
disagree.
I'm going to ask you again, and this time I'm going to give you context for every word I'm saying. Impasse, cannot find a way around.
Can you give me an example?
Impasse, cannot find a way around.
You can usually find a way around a conflict.
impasse
Moving
means
states.
you
Let's say you're
cannot
moving
find
states.
a way
For a
around.
job. Let's say you're for
Let me
a
ask you
job.
this. Can I ask you one question? How would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast this morning?
What if I didn't eat breakfast this morning? I feel fine. I didn't eat breakfast this morning. What do you mean?
Well,
Wait, I don't know what that has to
let's,
do with
Let's go with
everything.
my example. So let's say you're at an impasse, and your boyfriend and you.
You good?
You,
Sorry.
I think he's taking a little moment. Okay, but
I'm collecting myself.
it's a face palm, but Mike palm.
Yeah, no, I get that.
so what if your boyfriend has a job to go to Antarctica for his new job? It's paying about above the same, but maybe a little bit better than what he's.
And
doing
I want to
now.
stay here, and
And
it's
you want to
like-
stay here.
Oh, then we
I
could
don't know.
break up.
Honestly, Antarctica.
Yeah, it's just a breakup. It's
Then
just-
we would break up.
It's very obvious. Like,
I'm not gonna.
She doesn't
like Andrew,
want-
would you?
She
would you
doesn't
be
want-
like? Would you understand? Like if a girl doesn't want to move to Antarctica.
Look,
I mean,
I'm going to be totally honest.
You break up then.
I
If there's-
believe
if there's an-
100%
If there's an impasse, you break up.
that if I came home tonight, if I just caught a red eye, I walked into my house, I told my wife, we're moving to Antarctica and I don't want you to ask any questions, I think that she would do it.
That's great.
What
I wouldn't.
about you guys? Would you move to Antarctica for Kate?
He wants a beach house. I don't think that
For
would
her,
even.
for you, I would. I don't know if because you have a lot of things that you like that are like
I would
not in
not.
Antarctica. That's a tough one, right? Like, but like,
If the circumstances made sense or whatever.
there'd be a
like-
compromise. But I think she would be there like 6 months.
And then
Yeah,
Kate,
no.
would,
Good
you,
6
would you
months.
move to Antarctica for your husband?
If it really depended on it, like
He
say I
had-
wasn't an
he had to
influencer and it
go
was just
there.
him making the money, then yeah. I
What if
would.
he came home? Now, mind you, this is a man who literally shot another man to make sure that you didn't, expire. He came home one day. He didn't say shit. He was just like, "Listen, I need you to not ask any questions about this. I need you to just trust me. We're getting in the car. We're going to fucking Antarctica tonight. Don't say a fucking word. Just go. Would you do it?
Oh hell yeah.
See,
That
It's
sounds
That's
fun.
great.
That's the.
I just personally
but
wouldn't.
that's the. That's
wrong with that?
But that's the. There's nothing. What I'm saying is like that's the deference of an honorific. That's the honorific. It's not just your honor. It's that. That's the honorific. The fact that she would do it. And it's like,
That's great
and
for
the
her.
fact that if I just say the word impasse to you, you just pretend like you can't have one. You're just like,
No, you
well,
can have
no,
an
no matter
impasse.
what, you can negotiate your way out of everything.
I
It's
already
like, no, you
made it
fucking
clear.
can't.
I already made it clear. If there was an impasse of that sort, I'd break up.
She's a strong,
Right.
independent woman who don't need no man.
That's the kind of women that get thrown in cages in
When
his
did I say that?
dystopian.
Whoa.
That's right. In the
I wanna get
dystopian
married.
future,
What do you
the,
mean?
the cages.
Do you know me?
Wait, you had sorry, your question for Courtney, what is it?
No. She was just saying I'm a strong independent who doesn't need a man. I want to get married one day, and she doesn't know me, and she's like trying to attach these labels.
It
Do you want to
it's-
respond?
Yeah, I do. It's about compromise. That's my point. I was only using that as a facetious way of saying that, a hyperbolic way of saying that when women don't understand the way of like the art of just surrendering, which I think is a superpower. It just causes
Surrendering is not
conflict.
compromise.
So,
Isn't compromise kind of meeting in the middle a little bit?
One person, compromise, surrendering is just one. Surrendering specifically is one part of the contention, and yielding that over to the opposite.
That's surrendering.
Arguer.
I feel like
I'm
we're-
curious
to
to make a compromise.
completely and utterly. To
If we
doing
make a
that,
compromise,
right?
we come to a conclusion that we're both.
I think that's
fine
the
with.
most caring and compassionate thing that women can do is letting
That's
letting
not compromise,
what
though.
is surrendering to the decision, forfeiting the decision.
Why
Is that
shouldn't
not
men
like
surrender?
This is again another like
It's
you're
choosing-
seeing it from your point of view. A man you love and respect and wants the best interest for you. Yeah, you're gonna surrender to him because you know that he will do what is best for both of you. She's looking at it as like this guy just started dating in a relationship kind of thing. Am I gonna surrender to him? I don't know if that's what he wants the best for me. Like I feel like that's what it's like. Because anyone who trusts the other person knows that they've always made good decisions. They've always looked out for the best of you. Yeah, you would surrender to them because they have a good path forward. It's like a kid and a parent who has a good parent.
But don't you think you
Woman
should?
is not a kid,
Don't
though.
you
A
think
woman
you
knows what's
should-
good
Right,
for
but I'm
herself,
saying like
too.
if a kid has a good parent and the parent has never put them in a bad situation, you would it's understandable that the parent would want the kid to surrender, and the kid probably should for the better of.
So
their
by
life.
I
this
love how
logic,
women
why
are,
wouldn't a
are
man surrender to a
equated
woman?
kids as in this analogy.
It's just an analogy of someone who loves and cares for you.
Wait,
it's not.
what?
It's not that women
was
are
just-
kids.
serious.
It's it's
It's
just
a family member who loves and cares
yeah.
for
It's
you.
just giving the idea of like somebody who is dependent or physically dependent or in some way dependent on the person. You shouldn't get married to a person if you're going to refuse to depend on them. That's the whole point.
Well,
Like-
yeah, in a marriage, both people depend on each other.
Yeah,
to
of
some degree.
course. And so
Yeah.
the thing is like one of the biggest. There was remember that old country song? It was like I think that pride's the chief cause of the decline of the number of husbands and wives. I don't remember who wrote this. Someone in chat will tell me. Send in this fucking super chat. Tell me that it'll drive me crazy till I remember who sang the song. But the point is it's like, well, that's what it sounds like from you. It's just pride, it's just pure pride. Like,
It's not pride.
I'm not gonna. If there's an impasse, we're gonna fucking compromise because I have a
That's not what it's
pantsuit
about.
on, and it's like,
No.
it's not always necessary. It's
That's not what my take's about. What I'm saying, like, for example, in a situation, your husband wants to move somewhere for a job, you want to stay somewhere for a job. That's not about saying I'm gonna have all this pride. It's about also thinking about what's good for yourself, your own personal life goals, and just like not basing your whole life around this other person.
Why don't you trust your man to
then why
doing
get
that
married?
for you? Yeah, why don't
get
you
married?
trust
Because in
that,
this
your
situation,
partner?
you know that you want to stay in this place, and you know that's good for you. That's the environment you want to be in.
More
That's
than you
your-
want to be with this person that you trust and respect.
Sure, it can be.
Sorry,
Well,
can I
then
also
why
mention
marry
on the kid and
Why get
parent
married?
example?
It's a good point.
On the kid and parent example, an adult would not listen to their parents on like if my mom called me right now and said, hey, I think you should drop out of school, I think that's what's best for you, I probably wouldn't listen to that because I'm an adult. Like that's the main difference between that example and why it
Are you
can't be
married to your
compared to this
mom?
situation. No, but you did make someone here made the claim
You
that
always
is
have the
comparable.
choice when you're an adult to leave your parents, right?
Yes.
Though I think less and less people are, and they probably should more, but you always have the choice as an adult to leave your parents, right? A marriage is supposed to be forever.
Sure,
And so,
yeah.
like, if that's the case, why would you want to intertwine yourself with someone forever that you don't trust enough to, when they say, this is important to me, to yield to them?
I am always going to trust myself above anyone else because I'm a
Then
very
don't get married.
I'm a very competent
Then
adult.
don't
No,
get married.
I think that there's a difference as well between leaning on someone and depending on them. I think it's perfectly normal to lean on your partner and for them to help you and for you guys to, it should, be helpful for both parties there.
See,
but
I think-
I do believe that no one person should ever be fully depending on someone else for their well-being, for their decision making, for their path in life. I think you should trust yourself, and I think you should be competent enough to make those decisions for yourself.
This is
agree with that.
this is pretty funny, right? It's like when you're talking about depending here in this context. Why get married if you don't want to be able to depend on the person for those things, for those very things? Like, for instance, I'm a fucking slob. Like, I just am. Okay, I'm a slob. I'm a smoker, right? And I smoke in my little fucking man cave, right? And I'll consistently look down, and the genie has come through and cleaned everything in front of me. Sometimes even while I'm live streaming, right, this genie just comes through and it's all gone. And I'm like, this is fucking amazing. It's my wife, right? And every single comfort that I can imagine, right, she predicts on my behalf. You know what I've noticed over the years? Totally fucking depend on her for it. 100%, right? Depend on her for it, to the point where I don't even really think about it much anymore. And it's like, I wouldn't ever want to lose that dependency. Why would I ever want to lose that dependency? And the thing is that if you can outsource heavy decisions because you know that those decisions overall are going to be the best for you and your family, what's wrong with depending on that? That seems really wise.
I think a primary difference between you and me is I would not like to marry someone for what they can offer me. I would like to marry someone that I love. I think that a very healthy relationship could exist in
Then
the
why not
sense-
just be their friend?
If a relationship looks different than a friendship, you guys behave differently.
What's the
You-
difference in your view except you're fucking them?
Sometimes you spend more time with that person, you live with that person.
You can spend tons of time with a friend and live with a friend.
Yeah,
I
you
actually have said so many times to I have a few friends I love. I will not be in a relationship with someone unless they make me feel that much
I think she
love.
means romantic attraction.
Right.
When you're dating someone out of love, what do you like to have? What's the number one thing that you need? Everybody needs in a loving romantic relationship. Number one.
compromise.
Ain't wrong. No, none of that's correct. It's not trust. It's not compromise. It's peace.
I
It's
disagree
harmony.
entirely.
I disagree with
harmony.
peace and harmony. I think it's a benefit, honestly.
For you guys on the end, I'm curious to invert that. Like,
Okay, I just want to say that was a very prostitute-like thing to say.
No.
I'm just saying.
Not beneficial, like
Oh, okay.
super transactional. I mean,
She likes
like you said,
drama.
where you
She
benefit
lives.
from having a wife who is good at cleaning because you're not, right? Historically,
it's not
throughout-
really- it's not really-
No, that's the only one.
Yeah.
But historically, throughout the humanity, that people have married, they have tied, they've aligned houses for benefit, whether it's land.
That's true.
Or
Nobility
people, or king,
does.
like anything. And for women, they might be like, I want a father for my kids, so they might get married to have that sense of stability rather than a baby daddy, right?
Yeah, well, generally, like the historic standard, even though I don't like her much, Leela Rose points this out pretty well. Even though I disagree with like 90% of reviews, she did get this right. And I went through and researched it out. She's pretty much right. It used to be when peasants got married. You're talking about the nobility, alignment of house and stuff like that. Totally fair. But when peasants got married, it was like they usually worked a small plot of land together, the husband and the wife. They really actually worked the small plot together. If you were a smith, your husband or your wife usually would actually take care of small forge issues, take care of the kids, take care of this, take care of that. If you were a tradesman, something like this. If you were a farmer, same thing. She would exist in that capacity,
Yeah.
right? As a helpmate. It was a helpmate situation. the reason that it was so important that it was the man who was in charge is because of the security aspect, right? You have brigadiers and bandits, and you have things that'll kill you. You have literal fucking wolves at the door,
Right.
Right? You have 3 men who will break into your fucking house and grab your wife and try to steal your Bitcoin. And you got to shoot one. That aspect actually hasn't changed. Like that aspect of keeping the wolves at bay, that has not changed. And so that motherfucker gets the big piece of chicken. And
Right.
that fucking guy gets the higher end of the respect pole because when push comes to shove, you expect him, if you're being held hostage, to kill a motherfucker, and your husband did. And so it's like, yeah, he gets the big piece of chicken,
Right.
right? That's the way it has to work.
Yeah, and that's still benefit. All those biological things, like being pack animals, it's like at the end of the day, we are benefiting from being with one another, and that's good. It's not transactional
it's not
necessarily in a bad
transactional,
way. It's
and
just
that's
part of
actually
human
the
nature.
truth. And like that's the form of dependency that's good. It's good dependency. Like,
That's right.
how would you have done better on your own when that happened?
Oh no, I'd be dead.
You'd be dead. Like, why shouldn't you depend on that? That seems like basic common sense, It seems like basic common sense.
I think that if he were in her shoes, and this is intended with like zero disrespect at all, but I do think that if you had been in her exact shoes at the time, you also wouldn't have stood a chance against 3 armed men when you didn't have a firearm on you, as she was, I'm guessing.
Correct.
Do you
Yeah.
think that she would have handled the situation as good as him?
No.
Would you?
No.
No. And by the way, on top of that, how are you with guns in comparison to your husband?
I'm great at shooting them once they're already like set up, all the mags and loaded for
once
me,
he
right?
loads your magazines because your fingers hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
And he can't get you. The second you get to the center of the magazine, you go fuck,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So he loads it. He takes it. He cocks it. That's hard too.
Right. Like
right?
the gun would have to already be
And
fully
then he has
loaded
to put it
for
down,
me.
and then you pick it up, and then you're a fucking marksman, then, aren't
I
you?
know, right? Yeah.
It's like that's the common American story, and that's the common story between men and women that feminists like to fucking lie about. They like to lie about that shit. Miss has never used a gun, but knows that women can. And I don't know what your history is there too, but when it comes to violence, she has to outsource it to men, and you always will have to. And that's why they get the big piece of fucking chicken. They get the honorific, and they get to make the biggest decisions. Does that mean in daily life that you don't compromise? Of course not. Of course you compromise. There's all sorts of things I compromise on. Look, I want that bedroom. That would be a lot better for the girls. Okay, well, but you know what? Actually, you're right about that. So let's make sure that that's for the girls. But on the other hand, if it comes down to, hey, this is a big decision. It means a lot to me. You need to follow my lead, and you need to not ask any questions. That's what I get.
But
And
would-
man, that's the way.
But would you
why
agree
does-
that in dating, both women and men can have certain preferences? For example,
Sure.
a woman could have the preference to not want to call her man master, and that's fine.
Yeah, but again, the reason I feel like you keep deferring back to mastery, even though I excuse that as
It's
being
an example. Forget about that
Yeah,
example.
as
Women
being a
and men
loaded
can both
thing.
have preferences.
They can have preferences.
They can
Maybe
both-
they align. Maybe they align, right? But really, would you get rid of a great man who was willing to do all of those great things because he wanted an honorific? Like he wanted you to honor him in some way?
I mean, would I have figured this out like late into the relationship? Like, I'm curious. Like, if we were first starting to get to know
Well, if you
each
get
other-
married to him, you should probably have some sort of. You should put him
I'll
on
call him
some
by
sort
his
of
name.
platform, like you would put the judge you call your honor. Yes.
he would know by now that I wouldn't be the kind of person who would do that if we had gone to the point to being
So
married.
how is that not just incentive for men to not marry you?
Well, I don't think most women who prefer to not want to use an honorific on their husband are going to have
It's
trouble
not
getting
just
married.
using an honorific; it's acting as though the honorific is there.
I
whether you
think
use
that
it or
goes
not.
both
Because-
ways.
The same way you would behave in a fucking courtroom when it came down to it, the time it came down to it, where the judge is going to say such and you're going to obey.
Well, I wouldn't
that
act-
would be you acting as though the honorific was real, whether you said your honor
Like-
or fucking not.
Like acting like super obedient and like demure and submissive.
in certain situations where you need to be demure and you need to be submissive, yes.
If I'm dating someone, it's going to be like I'm going to act authentically
We're not
myself.
talking about dating. We're talking about marriage.
Sure. If I'm marrying someone, it's going to be because I know they like me for who I am authentically.
Wait, can we invert that real fast for you guys? Is there a possibility, like, you can pick exactly however you want this person to be, that there's a man that you would, in that previous example, like there's a big decision, you feel one way, he feels the other, right? Like that you would defer to him. Is that man even like possible?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like he's good
That's a
for
great
you in
question.
every way, right?
Yeah.
That you would be willing in that moment when push comes to shove for the decision, right? Like you feel one way, he feels the other, that you would defer to him.
I mean, it would depend on what I'm deferring to him to.
The question is contradictory.
I
There
would-
would
I'd
never
be-
be a man who is perfect for me who would ask me to
Who would
sacrifice
ask
my
you to
life
say-
I mean, look-
So the answer is no.
No.
So hang on. No, he asked the
The
perfect.
man would
that
not
was
be
the perfect
perfect for
fucking
No, and I'm ready
question.
to
The
answer
answer
it.
is no.
Don't think
I'm
life
ready to
goals
answer it.
was
The heck?
necessarily the
Yeah,
Well,
she
I think
did
that
answer
if I'm
it.
asked,
She-
like,
the
for
second she
example,
said
move to
it's
Antarctica.
contradictory.
No. I'm sorry. If I was asked to move to Antarctica, that is giving up my life goals. My life goals
I know.
happen here.
So the
If-
answer is no.
Yeah, because that man
yeah.
doesn't.
See? I
Okay,
told
on
you
that
the
too.
answer is no.
That man
But
isn't
it also
capable of
depends on the
existing.
degree of like the conflict. Like in certain situations, like I would of course be willing to like cede something or
But
like
you can make this guy perfect. Like anything that you could ever possibly want.
I could not make him perfect if he's asking
Yeah,
that
if
of
he's
me.
asking her to do any fucking thing.
No,
he
if he's
can't make
asking,
him
we're
perfect.
talking about
That's too
extreme life
much.
decisions. I think that compromise also means sometimes giving into what your partner
Fine,
wants on
then
both
don't.
ends.
I'll tell you what. Then don't. Then here's
talking
the
about
thing.
huge life
Get-
decisions.
Get married and don't defer to him for a huge life decision. But also, don't expect him to put his life on the line when three
don't.
men break into your fucking house and have
no.
you hostage.
No,
Okay,
because
don't
I would
don't
do that
expect
for him
that
as
either.
well. Because I would do that for him as well. If I was the one holding the gun, I would start
You
shooting.
don't have the capacity to do it.
You don't
That's
think
the
I'm
point.
capable of shooting a gun?
I don't think that you're. Look, I don't think that you're capable the same way he is.
Do you believe that I am capable
I
of
don't
shooting
think
a
you're
gun?
capable the same way
That
he
was
is.
not my
and
question.
so security will always be deferred to him.
That was not my question.
Okay, I'll tell
That's
you
not
what.
true. Let's say that.
Here,
no.
You know what?
Bear with
Actually,
me.
no. I don't think you're capable of it. Tell me how you load a gun.
I don't know. I
Then
think that
you're
I
not
could learn.
capable of it. Then you're not fucking capable
currently
of it.
in this state right now as we speak, no. If I learned,
Then you're
yes.
not
I am
capable of
physically
it.
capable.
Then you're not capable of it.
Okay.
I just think there's also a different
that
way
doesn't mean
that
she's
men and
unimportant.
women.
Like she's
I
the
think
only
that
one
I also think that I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go on.
I think for a lot of people, there's always exceptions, but women a lot of times will process adrenaline and trauma quickly. They're more likely to run than they are to fight, if they can. If
Which
it's
is wise.
If it's an
That's
option.
fucking smart.
I don't know if
Or submit, right? So you have fight, flight, but you also have
That's
submit.
what I did. I ran. I ran to him.
Yeah, I don't know on like a wide scale thing. I know for me personally, I do fight. That is my immediate
Yeah,
gut
well,
response.
when three men break in and they have
Well,
fucking
it's
Glocks
different.
with 30-round mags, you
Yeah.
ain't fighting
Yes,
shit.
and if he were in that circumstance as well, I'm sorry. Again,
was in that circumstance. He shot the-
wasn't.
he shot
was
the
one
fucking
holding
guy.
the gun. They didn't know where he was. They didn't have him hostage. If he was not the one holding the gun, if he was alone
it's a good
in that
thing the
room,
woman
and
is
they,
here to explain to you that if the situation was reversed, he'd be fucked.
if this,
Yeah, because he's not likely to run. He's like likely to fight, but he can't in that moment. He'd probably just be dead. For me, I'm thinking like, where can I run to? Him. And luckily, his response is to fight. So that's when the marriage works out.
Wait, just on this really quick. So when this happened, you said you ran in fear to him.
Yeah.
I think, I understand a little bit what you're saying, but I think that there's a different component here too, a different angle that we can examine. I would argue just, we're talking about dating, that in the event that men won't judge women harshly when women display cowardice. So even in instances where you say, well, I would do the same thing, maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. However, if you were to not do that and you were to run away in a cowardly fashion,
There's no judgment.
Your boyfriend or husband would not lose attraction for you. There wouldn't be a negative judgment. However, and I don't know if it's the case for you, but I would argue the vast majority of women, if men acted in the same way that women did, and I don't think you did anything wrong, by the way, but if men acted in the same way women did, they were cowards. They were scared. They ran. If a husband ran to his wife, oh my God,
Yeah.
home invasion. What do we? Regardless of the
She wouldn't be very appreciative, would she, Brian?
Regardless of the outcome of the home invasion, whether the woman dispatches the home invaders, women will intrinsically get the ick. If the man's a coward, the man doesn't rise to the occasion. I think a lot of women are going to either consciously or subconsciously, they're going to lose attraction. There's going to be an assessment.
But
there.
Brian, she's about to tell you she's the exception to that. I
Yes, I am.
promise. Yep. It's a fucking like clockwork.
I'll
it's
just
like
say that, like-
clockwork. I can predict
you're the-
everything you're gonna say before you ever say it.
what can I say?
For me, I would have preferred, like let's say we reverse the situation, right? And I'm in the bedroom, they storm in, and then she's hiding somewhere. I'd actually, whether I live or die, preferred for her to stay hidden. I think that's just a better, because you have to have some reasonably likelihood of success. Otherwise, it's just a second person dead.
Yeah,
Now,
what's the
can I
point?
agree-
It
can
makes-
I
that-
actually-
That literally makes sense what he's saying, right?
Can I actually say in this circumstance?
Hang on 1 second. Let me just point this out, right?
Go on.
What he just gave you was great male pragmatism, right? And it's why we're so good at this and why women are so fucking terrible at it. I would prefer that you just went ahead and kill me why this person stayed hidden, because I think her chances are so low of saving me from this, right? That it's fucking stupid for her to pop her head out, because if she does, she's just going to die, and then there's going to be 2 of us dead. Great male pragmatism.
Yeah, so what I would like
Not
to-
what you see. Not what you see in the majority of these situations from women, which is why she ran to him.
What I
Wait,
would like to
I
say
have
in
one
this,
question for you. One question for you on my statement.
yes,
There's this scene from, I'm going to get some heat for this, but as just for R&D, like she said, research and development. I've been watching Sex in the City, and there was just for research purposes. There's actually a lot of interesting.
Just stop.
Nah, don't worry.
No. Just.
No, but there's a scene. And one of the female leads, maybe not the lead, one of the female main characters or whatever.
What's her name, Brian?
Yeah.
What's her name, Brian?
It was Charlotte.
Oh, you knew with an yeah, okay.
So Charlotte was dating this guy who, they were sleeping together, so he wasn't gay, but he was acting in a sort of gay, effeminate way. And, she was really attracted. He was a good-looking guy. She was attracted to him. But there was and she was on the fence about his kind of effeminate nature. But there was one breaking moment where, like a little mouse or rat scurried across the kitchen, and he jumped on a chair like this. Oh my God! And she knew right then and there it was over. Like, she couldn't date a guy like that. So my question to you is, you say you wouldn't care. You say you wouldn't care. You're telling me, if you were dating a guy and he saw a spider and he jumped and hid and, oh my God, and screamed.
it would be funny. Like,
You wouldn't
the same way it would be
like,
funny if I
"This
jumped
guy
on a
is
chair and
bitch."
laughed.
You wouldn't think that?
No,
I would think he's a
no.
bitch.
Okay, what I wanted
You
to
wouldn't
say.
think that?
No, I would not.
Your ovaries
People
would
have
shrivel up
irrational
and fucking
fears.
die. Your
No, what I
ovaries
was-
would jump out of your mouth and commit suicide in front of you. That's what would happen.
What
Your
I-
ovaries would beat each other to death with their bare
Okay,
fucking
you are more
hands.
than welcome to not believe me on this
I
point.
don't. Not only do I not believe you, but like, come on. Like, because even your peers would be like, "What a bitch." Your friend
don't
group would say,
care.
"What a bitch."
That doesn't matter
You're
to
the
me in the
exception,
slightest.
though, of course, right?
I don't know. I can't speak on other women's behalf, but
Let
I
me
know
ask you
many
this:
women
your
who
last
agree with
boyfriend,
me.
was he bigger and stronger than you?
I'm sorry?
Well, your last boyfriend, was he bigger?
Yes.
How much bigger?
How do I measure that?
Your height versus his?
The last person I dated was 6'2". The person I'm currently
Oh,
dating
he
is
was
5'10".
6'2". Was he somewhat muscular?
Sure.
Oh, that's interesting. You were attracted to this 6'2" muscular man. Why? What?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember how before when you said we're hardwired for what we're hardwired for,
Sure.
right? This 6'2" muscular man. Why do you think you were attracted to him? Was it because he was big and strong and
No,
buff
no,
looking?
it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
No.
It just happened to be that he was 6'2" and muscular.
Genuinely, yes.
Yeah. Man,
I am-
that's insane. How many of you women happen to find the guy with the perfect personality happens to be 6'2" and muscular? That's crazy. It had nothing to do with his
You know what's
physical
funny?
characteristics.
I broke
Nothing.
up. I broke up with him, and he looked the same the whole time.
Yeah, you
And
can
actually
break
his-
up. You can break up with him, sure. But the point is like the guy before him. Was he 5'6" and bald?
He was, I think, 5'7", and had the forehead that was like a forehead that was his entire
Yeah,
face.
and how long were you with him?
2 years,
And how long were you with the last boyfriend?
2.5.
So every time, it's funny.
Upgrade.
I'm just saying, it's funny to me that many times I hear women talk about how it is that, no, if this guy acts like a fucking pussy, I don't mind at all. It's fine. It's I would think it was funny. It's cutesy, actually. And then you ask them about the characteristics of their boyfriend, right? And here's what you find out. They're tall and they're muscular, and they absolutely would never do that in a million fucking years. Would your 6'2" muscular boyfriend go, "Ew, a rat"? Wait, hang on. Would he jump up on a chair and go, "Oh my God, a rat"? Would he? The truth.
My ex-boyfriend,
Yeah, would he?
probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
I can, but also
Isn't
this is one
fucking
of the most
convenient?
feminine men I know. I'm sorry, with love. He's probably watching this. We're great friends,
Mm-hmm.
but he's very feminine. He's like a very feminine man.
Okay.
He's not tough by any means.
But he ain't going to jump up on the fucking chair and say, "Oh, a rat."
I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I don't think logically he would.
Okay.
I
and
just think it's interesting that you said that the trait you value most in a relationship was trust.
Compromise.
Okay, it was compromise. Okay, I thought yours was trust. So yours is trust. Okay. Then is that still the deciding factor for you in a successful relationship?
I think there are many deciding
Number one,
factors.
you have to choose one.
If I had to choose one, I'd say compromise, but it really is on equal par to a lot of other things.
That's just an effect. That's just one means to an end for what? Compromise is one tool in the tool belt of your utilities
Yes.
to achieve what?
A happy, healthy relationship.
Happiness or peace. One of those two, right? Like that's what I had said before is the most important deciding factor of a relationship is peace. When you're not able to use the tools in your tool belt to accomplish said end effect, whether yours is happiness or peace, I mean, they're kind of the same thing for me. Then I think that is a failure on this.
But you don't advocate for compromise. You're advocating to not use the tool in your tool belt to lead to a happy relationship.
That's horseshit.
I'm so-
She had nuance with her position. It wasn't simply.
Her nuance-
It wasn't.
compromise.
It wasn't
Her
never
nuance was
compromise. It
attempt to compromise, and then if it doesn't-
it wasn't.
Okay.
It was.
That's true.
If we get to the time where it's a massive decision, and there is an impasse where debate no longer works, where discussion no longer works, where rather than throw the relationship in the toilet, she'll yield, and she'll go ahead and go with the person that she trusts, who's her husband, which is what she's supposed to do. That is very different than saying, I refuse to compromise. That's saying only in the situations where, like, look, this matters so much to him that he's unwilling to. I need to trust that.
But in a situation where something matters so much to her that she's unwilling to, why
And
does it not matter?
Because there has to be a tiebreaker. Because there's only two
So it
of
just
you.
goes to the
There's
man?
only two of you.
So it just defaults
Look,
to the
you
man.
can have a relationship where you can defer to the woman for those choices, but those relationships tend to not work out.
I disagree with that. I don't think that you should be deferring
hang on. I don't
to
care what you
anyone.
disagree with. What we see from data itself is that women want assertive men with good leadership capabilities. If that's the case, if you have good leadership capabilities, if you're unwilling to compromise, then that means that you must have some really good fucking reason for it.
So if she's unwilling to compromise, then she must have really good reason for it.
Women don't generally exert the same type of leadership abilities as men.
I guess generally, but again, I mean, you're just claiming that this is how relationships should function without
Well, I'm
considering.
not saying that you couldn't do it the opposite way. I'm only giving you the fact that if
I
you
don't
do
think it
do it
has
the
to go
opposite
either
way, they
way.
generally don't work out as well as the other way.
Well, I don't think that it
Considering
works out well
from the
either way. Someone is
I am
unhappy.
sorry,
in
I
these
do have to
situations.
move on to the next topic. Robert Tanner. Hey, Brian from Robert Tanner. Been